Breaking news, Manchester United have sacked Ruben Amorim after 14 months in charge. That's the breaking news for today. What a week. What a way to start the new week. Today is Monday and Manchester United board decided to give us a shocker because I was not expecting them to sack him, but after watching his press conference yesterday, after the Leeds United game, I knew that something was going to happen because let me not say I knew, I had the feeling that something was going to happen because he called everybody out. He called the board. He called likes of Wilcox, Barada, and the rest. He was just talking. Called likes of Gary Neville out. Well, he said a lot of things in the press conference. So I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. A lot of people are thinking it's the result that made them sack him. I don't think it's the result. I don't think so. Yeah, he has not won many games as Manchester United boss, but I don't think it's the result that sacked him. It's the way what he said yesterday that sacked him. Because we've seen examples with what's his name? Maresca. Maresca came, called the board out, and he was sacked. We've seen another example with Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte called his board out, and he was sacked. So I was just saying that I don't think anything can save Ruben Amorim, but he has finally been sacked. So let's read what we have here on Sky Sports. Yeah, because that's where I got the news from, the Sky Sports. Yeah, Ruben Amorim sacked. Manchester United dismissed head coach after 14 months in charge. Manchester United sacked Ruben Amorim in wake of rising tension at Old Trafford. Yeah, like I said, his press conference yesterday showed that there is a problem between him and the board. There's a problem. And look at this. It's written here, the rising tension. Amorim dismissed after meeting with Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox. Darren Fletcher to take charge of United for Wednesday's game at Burnley. Amorim departs after 14 months in charge. So going further, Sky Sports News understand that Amorim's emotional and inconsistent behavior was a key factor in the decision, and the refusal to adapt and evolve his preferred 3-4-3 system led to a breakdown in confidence in the head coach. Let's be frank, Amorim is an emotional guy. He's very emotional. He talks, sometimes the way he talks, you know that, no, this guy is a very emotional person. Yeah, I feel he's emotional because he wants to win. It's so painful. Like I said, it's so painful when you prepare your team for something and they don't display what you ask them to do. It's so painful. So I think all those things are what makes him emotional sometimes, because you'll be looking at it like,
let's go back to why this has happened.
Okay, because sometimes you'll be thinking, I did all this same thing I'm doing with Manchester United. I did it at Sporting and I was successful. So why can't I get it right here with these players? So all those things are so annoying, and they make some people, if they don't know how to handle their emotions, things like this, you find out that they start talking, letting all the emotions out, and it could lead them to trouble. And again, this is 3-4-3. Because they were talking about it, they said something about it, that inconsistent behavior was a key factor to the decision and refusal to adapt and evolve his preferred 3-4-3. Like I said, I asked a question when he first came. I said, is there a system, or is the formation the system? Because Guardiola plays tiki-taka, but he plays different formations. He can play 4-1-4-1, 4-3-3. At Barcelona, he basically play 4-3-3 or 2. In Man City, he has played 4-1-4-1, 3-2-5, 3-2-5-1, or was it 3-2-5-2? Then when he had Alvarez and Haaland. So he mixes everything. He mixes 3-2-4-1 rather. So he mixes everything. So Amorim got stuck to that 3-4-3 that he could not change. That oppositions were reading his pattern. They were reading it. They were like okay, our game against Fulham, Marco Silva and Alex Iwobi were able to break down Amorim's tactics. They were able to break it down, and which is bad. Like, everybody knows what you want to do. No, you have to be dynamic as a coach, and the game is all about results. You need to win matches. Forget about system. I've said it on this channel that most of these coaches, what sacks them is their system. Everybody, Ten Hag was sacked because of system. Your first season, you didn't play your system. You played to the player's strength, and you were able to finish in top 4. You won a trophy. And the second season, you said you wanted to go back to your system, which led to your sack, as far as I'm concerned. That was the thing that sacked you. So I think, yeah, I also have a problem with this too. If the board have a problem with this, I also have a problem with this. But that doesn't mean that we will not face the board later. I'll face. Let me finish with Amorim first. I'm going to face Wilcox and Umar Barada when I'm done with Amorim first. So going forward, they said Amorim had a scheduled meeting with Director of Football Jesse Wilcox on Friday, where the team's tactical approach was discussed in detail. Sky Sports News has been told United bosses felt Amorim's response at the meeting was very negative and emotional. Frustration. Amorim was subsequently dismissed following a Monday morning meeting with Wilcox and Umar Barada, United's chief executive. United are understood to have concluded that Amorim's position had become untenable. They said Amorim not surprised. Amorim, meanwhile, is understood to feel he was not getting the backing of the club hierarchy and frustrated by what has happened. The ex-Sporting boss was optimistic that Man United, who currently sit sixth, will finish in the Champions League places and their form would improve with the return of players from African Cup of Nations duty. Amorim felt United needed one or two experienced signings this January transfer window, in particular an experienced Premier League striker. Remember, Ten Hag also wanted an experienced Premier League striker. That was why he asked them to get him Harry Kane. But they couldn't get the Harry Kane. Amorim wanted Watkins. He wanted Watkins. I think I've done a show. I've like released a video on that. Yeah, I dropped a video on that telling that if I were Man United board, I will go for what's it called? I will go for Watkins over Sesko. I'll go for Watkins over Sesko. But no, they decided to go for Sesko, saying they're trying to be. You need experienced players that can play in the Premier League. You need them. But no, they wanted something different and they went for, what's his name? Sesko. And now look at it. Sesko, look at our game against Leeds United. Look at what he was doing. Look at what he was doing. What's the difference between him and Højlund? What's the difference? They are reporting that Fletcher to take interim charge. Amorim departs after 14 months in charge with his final game, the 1-1 draw at Leeds United on Sunday. Amorim dismissal was announced by Manchester United shortly after 10 a.m. on Monday. In a statement, United confirmed the club's leadership has reluctantly made the decision that it is the right time to make a change. This will give the team the best opportunity of the highest possible Premier League finish. Ex-Man United midfielder and current under-18 coach Darren Fletcher will take interim charge with United's next in action at Burnley on Wednesday night live on Sky Sports. Man United then return to Old Trafford on Sunday for an FA Cup third-round tie against Brighton. Amorim was appointed at Old Trafford in November 2024 on a 2.5-year contract, which is due to expire in June 2027. But in an apparent pointed message to the Old Trafford hierarchy, following Sunday's draw at Leeds, he said he saw himself as manager. I noticed, this was where he started saying all those things, and I felt, this was what led the board to sack him. I noticed that you received selective information about everything. He said, I came here to be the manager of Manchester United, not be the coach of Manchester United. Yeah, the outburst followed cryptic suggestions to the media just before Christmas that he had not received the backing he anticipated in transfer market. I have the feeling if we have to play a perfect 3-4-3, we need to spend a lot of money and we need time, he said. I'm starting to understand that it is not going to happen. Amorim subsequently fielded a back four for the first time in Manchester United win over Newcastle on Boxing Day, but reverted to a back three for the dismal 1-1 draw against Wolves. Yeah, so let's look at Amorim's records. Look at it. Amorim leaves with worst point percentage of any Man United boss in Premier League era. Just imagine. The damning stats that contributed to Amorim's sacking. Amorim won only 24 of his 63 games in charge in all competitions, or 38.1%, the worst rate of any United manager since retirement of Sir Alex Ferguson, aside from Ralph Rangnick, 37.9%. In half a season as interim manager, United have won less than a third of their Premier League games under Amorim, 15 out of 47, compared to 19 defeats. Just imagine. Only 15 wins in 47 Premier League games. His average of 1.23 points per game is the worst of any United manager in the Premier League era. Next lowest is Rangnick, who averaged 1.54. Amorim's longest winning run was just 3 matches, set in Europa League fixtures against Rangers, Basel, right, either side of a Premier League clash with Fulham in January, and matched against Sunderland, Liverpool, and Brighton in October. Okay, Amorim lost exactly a third of his matches overall, the worst of any permanent United manager since Frank O'Farrell in the early 1970s. So this is what Sky Sports just said about the whole Amorim news and the rest. How he has been emotional, very emotional, and this. Yeah, I know he's a very emotional guy, because even the press conference yesterday showed that Amorim is very emotional. But now let's come to Omar Barada and Wilcox. When you signed Ruben Amorim at first, what were you thinking? You signed a coach that lives in 3-4-3, and you never gave him the players that work. You are bringing a player, that the man that knows how to play a 3-4-3. The squad there, do they play a 3-4-3? The players you signed for Ten Hag were players that played in a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. Now you are bringing a coach that plays a 4-3-3, and you are telling us that you want those players to adapt to 3-4-3 just like that. What were you thinking? Did you really? Sometimes I ask, did you really interview all these coaches very well before bringing them? Did you scrutinize Amorim well before bringing him to Manchester United? The truth is that, let's look at this INEOS critically. Yes, we can criticize Amorim. That's, yes, we know that he has his own. Okay, we know that Amorim has his own too. Yes, we know that. But let's look at INEOS too. Have INEOS really improved anything apart from the sport? Is it the training ground facility that they include in that they rebuilt for the men, and the stadium that they want to do? What have they really done? Let's check their history. Let's look at Nice. It was the same INEOS that this guy called out. What's it called? Dante. He called them out. That these guys don't know what they were doing. The same INEOS. This same INEOS have messed up a Formula 1 team in Mercedes. Since when they joined that Mercedes has been crumbling. And what's making people feel that they are going to rebuild Manchester United? What's making people feel that way? I remember when they took over, I told a friend of mine, Ayo, I said, I don't see these guys. And I'm always using that I'm always going back to Dante's comments. A player will will come to the press and be calling his owners out. No, I've not seen that. And I saw that with Dante. You call them out, and you are thinking that these guys really understand this game. No. I always say that I want an Arab man to take over Manchester United, pay off who he needs to pay off, and restart everything all over. Because with these guys, I don't see anything. Look at how they've messed. You didn't like Ten Hag. You didn't want Ten Hag. Instead of you to just lay him off or let him go after winning the FA Cup, you kept him, extended his contract. After how many months, you sacked him and paid him off. Why are you wasting money like that? If he's not your guy, you let him go. He's not your guy, You let him go. You now brought somebody that is your guy. With players that it will be difficult for them to adapt to the 3-4-3. We are trying to bring a coach that has mastered 3-4-3 in his head. This in yourself. I don't trust you guys. So, yeah, Ruben has gone. Now, which coach is going to come and coach Manchester United? Every coach will be scared of coaching this club. Let's be honest. They'll be scared of coaching this club. It's just so frustrating that these things are happening like this. Yeah, he has his own problem too. Amorim has his own stubbornness and all those things like that. He's lacking the flexibility to change things. Yes, I know he has his own. But let's look at this INEOS too. Are they really the guys to take Manchester United forward? I don't think so. But But anyways, let's see the guy that's going to go. For now, this guy is going to be in charge, Fletcher. Let's see who INEOS is going to bring to take over the helm of Manchester United. So, guys, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. Click on that subscribe button, please, and like, share this video.